Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I know your time is valuable, so let's start the presentation. Topics of this presentation or information session tonight: why mediation, parenting arrangements, child support, parenting education classes, spousal support, property settlement, all the forms needed to file for divorce, and then what does a typical court hearing look like? So my name is Mark Camaro. I am the owner of Camaro Mediation. I spent 20 years in the military, and I definitely saw and had my fair share of conflict. I decided to, when I retired, I decided to continue my education, and I went for a master's degree in conflict resolution, which drove me to be a mediator. And on a personal note, I am a divorced dad of two, and I used the mediation process when I went through a divorce. And I have to tell you, I love the mediation process. I just had a hard time with the mediation itself. And what that drove me to do is I wanted to become a divorce mediator, because I felt that, I want to take those issues that I had, and I want to be able to help you get through your divorce. So let's talk about why mediation might be the right choice for you. We know divorce is stressful, but the process doesn't have to be. So with Camaro Mediation, we're going to help navigate through the entire process, because we understand the laws, we work with attorneys, and we can help you definitely alleviate that stress that comes with going through a divorce. What is a mediator? So a mediator technically is a neutral third party, right? I am not the judge. I'm not the jury. I don't make the decisions. You make the decisions. So what I love about mediation is self-determination. What does that mean? Well, self-determination is you, the both of you sitting together with me, the mediator, and creating your own agreement. You're creating your own terms for your divorce. I'm just there to help facilitate and guide you through the process. So at the end of this, you can sit back and know that your agreement is fair, equitable, and that you made the terms together. There are a lot of issues that are talked about and discussed in mediation. 4 important topics that I see all the time: parenting plans, spousal support, division of assets, and then there's a couple other ones. If you have children under the age of 18, or 18 and under, as we say, the courts want to see some type of parenting arrangement or parenting plan. Child support, well, let me get back to the parenting plan, because that's important. They want to see that the two of you came up with the parenting plan. You two agreed on however it's going to be laid out. Child support's a little bit different. Child support is black and white. There is the child support guidelines that we follow. It's just taking a bunch of numbers, putting them in, and computing. So we compute those numbers. Parenting education classes, well, right now they're currently suspended. However, if they do bring them back in the future, that is something that we can discuss in mediation. But going back to the child support, I did say it is black and white. I did talk about that we do follow the child support guidelines, and you put your numbers in, and numbers comes out of, there's a payer and there's a payee. So someone's going to get paid, someone has to pay. However, you can deviate from that, and that's another beauty of mediation. You can choose your terms. You can say, well, maybe that number isn't fair. Can we agree on something different? So again, another beauty of mediation. Spousal support. So spousal support is also known as alimony. And this is actually very tricky, because what you're doing is you have to figure out, well, who wants alimony? Who wants that spousal support? You're kind of actually applying for it, right? So you're requesting it. And like child support, there are guidelines that are followed. there is a formula that is used, numbers in, numbers out, and then that will compute how much alimony will be paid. And at the end of the day, the judge will be the one that says, you know what, yes, I agree, this makes sense based on the situation, and yes, we're going to approve the alimony. But that, again, another topic that we talk about in mediation, that it isn't just as quick as what we just went through now. It could take a little bit. Division of assets. Well, this is homes, bank accounts, debt, vehicles. And what are we talking about? What are we trying to do? Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to come up with a fair and equitable agreement. Okay. So does that mean taking everything that we have and splitting it right down the middle? No, that's another beauty of mediation. You don't have to say, well, we get 50-50 on everything. With mediation, it's being creative. It's coming up with your own ideas, your own plans. How can we take our assets and how can we divide them evenly or fairly, but not necessarily 50-50. But if you want to go 50-50 with everything, you can. But again, with mediation, you definitely have options. So other topics that I see come up that sometimes, again, the stress of divorce and you just don't really understand everything, you kind of forget a few things, and that's okay. Pensions. Does somebody have a pension? Is someone entitled to the pension? Well, we talk about that. Pets, the family pets. Well, who's going to stay? The pet's going to stay with which one? Health insurance. So do you both have your own health insurance policy? Is somebody covering the family? Is somebody, if you're on your spouse's health insurance, will they cover you after divorce? Life insurance. Do you want to remain as a beneficiary? These are all things we can talk and discuss and we can use in mediation. There are several forms needed to file for divorce, and I'm going to talk about them because they're really important. First and foremost, we have to come up with a separation agreement. So I'm not an attorney. I'm a mediator, but I work closely with attorneys. So what I do is after you come together and you have your agreement the way that you want it, I write it up, I send it to my attorney, the attorney drafts it, and then gives it back to me so you can review it. That's a really big piece of this puzzle. Another form is a joint petition for divorce. So the joint petition for divorce is kind of like the application for divorce. Both parties, the both of you sign it. And on that form, it's kind of saying, requesting the court to grant your separation agreement. There's also a spot on there that's really important. Does the wife want to, change her name back to her maiden name? There's a spot on there for that. But again, a very important form to fill out. Affidavit irretrievable breakdown. That's just a form that says when did the marriage break down and how or why. Let's see. There's a couple of the forms. Let's see here. So one really big thing you have to have is financial forms, right? We've got to talk about financial forms, but that's huge. And the beauty of mediation is you're filling out your financial forms on your own, okay? But you're also giving your spouse a chance to review them. And as long as they're filled out, to the best of your ability and as accurate as possible, and that's what we do in mediation, we help. We help you get through that process because those can be very confusing, very tricky, overwhelming, but I definitely help you through that as well. Other things that you definitely need when going through mediation, there's a checklist, marriage certificate, a couple other forms that we could talk about in mediation. So what does a typical court hearing look like? So I can tell you from personal experience, when they were in person, it's a little different than on Zoom. Currently, right now, they are via Zoom. What will happen is when your case is filed and you'll receive a court hearing date in the mail. He'll give you the instructions, he'll give you a Zoom link. It will tell you to wear appropriate attire, court attire, just how you would dress if you were going to be in court in person. And then what will happen is you'll be on Zoom. You'll be, you definitely want to have a high-speed internet connection. We say great Wi-Fi, because you don't want to freeze. You don't want to get cut off or cut out. And what will happen is and I can tell you this because we've had several over the past few months, and our clients come into our office and we let them use the office for the hearing, and I sit in on it, and it's a quick process, relatively quick process. The judge will ask you a series of questions, the both of you, you'll answer them, and then the judge will make their decision on granting the divorce. I'll tell you, I think it's having clients come in here and use our office for their hearing. I think it takes them more time to get here and set up than it does for the actual hearing itself. So it is pretty quick. And I'm sure they'll go back to in-person hearings eventually, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Camaro Mediation is here to help every step of the way. So we talked earlier, yes, the process, we know divorce is stressful. We know it can be very overwhelming, okay? But we're here to guide you and navigate you through the entire process from the very beginning to the very end. And the very end meaning your court hearing, when that divorce is granted. Let's meet your team. So we have our director of operations, Joey Camaro. Joey's awesome. She does all our email correspondence. She sends out checklists, financial forms, everything. So you communicate with Joey on the daily. And on a personal note with Joey, she's a divorced mom of two, so she can definitely work with our clients with empathy and compassion. Our mediators, very experienced mediators. We're so lucky to have Jennifer Waldron on board. Jennifer has her bachelor's degree from UCLA, as well as her master's degree in conflict resolution from UMass Boston. We have Bob Blair, another experienced mediator, and Bob's training is at North Shore Community Mediation Center. And Bob is a certified mediator through MWI Mediation. We offer so I have to tell you this as a veteran, and so much respect for our first responders. We definitely offer divorce mediation discounts for all of our active military, our veterans, and our first responders. So what to do now? Well, for a free consultation, just contact us. So on the screen here, there's my cell number, 339-227-7285. Email at markcamaro@markcamaro.com. You can visit camaromediation.com. You can follow us at Camaro Mediation, ask any questions, or book your free consultation. As you can see on the screen, there is a QR code there. So if you have the time and you want to scan that, it'll bring you right to our page where you can book a free consultation. I'll leave that up here just for a second. All right. Well, I just want to take this time to say thank you so much for attending tonight. I hope you got some solid information out of it, and I definitely look forward to hearing from you. Have a great evening.